I just beat Fire Emblem Three Houses Blue Lines slash Azure Moon route. So yeah, uh, let's talk about it. So start off with, you know, about this video. I'm just gonna talk about my thoughts on the game. Really, that's all there is to it. I had a pretty good time with this game. I logged about 34 hours on this route. Pretty fun. This is my first time beating this game or playing any route of it. Everyone said Blue Lines was the best, so just in case I don't play them all, I wanted to get the best one knocked out of the way. I probably will play them all though. So yeah, why don't we talk about the main attraction everyone seems to talk about first, or just everyone loves, Dimitri. He's a pretty cool character, right? My thoughts on him, I really like his character. I liked how he had sort of some Return of the King vibes. I don't actually remember that movie. It's just what he does in New York. Um, but yeah. Oh, also it's a book. I should probably say that before someone yells at me. I mean, that's probably gonna be me, to be honest. But yeah, basically, I like his arc. I like how he does a sort of a roundabout from going to, pretty tame dude. Get some stuff brought up about his past. Insane dude. Insane dude for a while. Murderous dude. Says he's a walking corpse. Don't really get that. Maybe he was a slave to the dead or whatever, and all the people around him who have died. And then, bam, you snap him back into it. Return of the King. He's all good again, and he wants to become, the King of Fargus. Or, yeah, I think it's Fargus. I don't even know. You think I read the chat logs in this game? Yeah, I thought he was pretty good. My only, minor nitpick is that, it sort of wrapped up really fast, and when he was sort of being, all, broody and moody in the, time skip, he just wasn't there. I mean, I know that's kind of the point, but in all those Sundays and stuff like that, you wouldn't see him till plot happens. You might want to involve him just a little bit, maybe get more of a reason why he's being broody instead of just edgy, yeah, all my family died and now I'm a slave to what they want and I gotta be a good person or whatever. But also, I'm not, they want me to do that, but I'm not doing that because I'm a killer. I've killed so many people. Wow, that's really cool. I also thought him, wrapping up into changing his mindset about that was done, really quickly, in a chapter or two. And it was just kind of instant, which, I mean, you can make the argument, yeah, there was a 5-year time skip, but, we didn't see any of that. And speaking of that, let's talk about the time skip, alright? The time skip is one of the dumbest things, I think. Because, think about it. Right before the time skip, right, there's the war. There starts the war with the Empire and the Church, right? Church is destroyed, then you get thrown in the chasm or whatever, right? 5 years later, nothing changes. Things only change when you, the main character, wake up and decide to help a side. That is literally the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I mean, it kind of makes sense for, Dimitri, because you, helped him get out of his depression or whatever, but even with that, it just makes your character, the main character, Byleth, out to be something more than, they are. Which I get, they're, a fusion with the goddess or whatever, and they've, I don't know, been possessed by the goddess for a long time. But, the world literally, just stopping, basically, for 5 years. Nothing continues on about the war. Dimitri and his Blue Line gang don't try to attack again until you made up with them in the ruins of Garreg Mach 5 years later. Another thing is that, nothing happens in those 5 years to Byleth. You're just out for those 5 years. Literally nothing. No, character development. Maybe you learn something in your dreams or just literally anything. You just, get knocked out for 5 years. I feel like it's a major missed opportunity. Yeah. So, next thing I want to talk about is the other house leaders in this part of it. Azure Moon or Blue Lions, right? Well, let's talk about Claude first, because he kind of has less to him. Although I do like what's there. With Claude, he's seen as this, kind of smart dude controlling the alliance sort of from the back lines, He's like the He's the management guy, the unseen hand type of thing. And it's pretty cool what you see him do, move the alliance around and sort of clear a path for Dimitri's troops and stuff like that. He worked pretty well, and I thought his contribution to the story was pretty neat. I like that moment where he was like, you know what, man, you can take this bow and arrow. I didn't use that bow and arrow. But yeah, he gives you the bow and arrow relic and is like, you know what, man, I don't need this. I want to fight for Fargus, not the Alliance anymore. And from that, they sort of, joined forces, basically, against the Empire. I thought that was really cool. I like that he sort of, took action in that way. I mean, I don't know, it just kind of made sense. And it was a very nice thing to do. Now, what's not a nice thing to do is being Edelgard. They don't really go into her motive that much. It's like her motive for going to war against the church. Like, we know that there's something that she knows that we don't know what it is, really, about the church. You never really get any wrap up with Lady Rhea other than, in that little end scene where they give you a description of what each of the characters do at the end of the game and, what their future is. There's not really anything, at least in Azure Moon, about why Edelgard did this. She said it was better for the people to have, change, and that growing, away from the church was ultimately better, which, yeah, but, doesn't mean you have to massacre people, man. I really didn't get it. Maybe I'm really dumb and I missed something, but dear God, please have a better motive. I do like, however, how she kind of stuck with it no matter what. Right in the end scene, when, the last cutscene of Azure Moon, when she gets killed, I like that. Dimitri walks up and he's like, hey, you want to join forces? Do you want to stop this war? And, basically forfeit your role as the Emperor. And, without a word, they just stab each other, and Edelgard ends up dying. That was pretty cool. Also, they didn't really go into whatever that crazy thing was that she turned into for the final boss fight. What? How did she gain that power? How? I don't remember. I literally finished this game last night, and I have no clue. But yeah, speaking of final boss fight, let's talk about that. I took a very long time to beat the final boss fight. Probably 2 hours, maybe 2.5, just on that. Trying to go back, Divine Pulse it over and over. I got a game over once on it, because I've been playing that game so poorly. Dimitri and Violet were level high 40s, right? High 40s by the end of that fight. Sylvain, 28. Flayn, 24. And the rest were in their 30s. I don't think Ingrid was even in her 30s either. Annette, I don't even remember where Annette was. I don't remember anything about Annette really. But yeah, that's how I had been leveling things. Not really smart. And the rest of the game had pretty much been a cakewalk, right? So I was like, this will be fine. Easy even. But it wasn't. Also, I would try to, go kill that Myson guy, Myson whatever, the guy who controlled all, the hired-in warlocks that aren't from the, Imperial Army or whatever, right? Just don't fight him. Just don't go through mid and don't fight him. Just go to the left, clear a path, and just go up. And then just rush to the boss. Just do that. There's literally no point of going to the right or the middle of the map. You can just skirt around 90% of the encounters. And then you get into the throne room, and then you just gotta rush to the boss. And then it's just game over at that point. It's pretty easy. But it took me so long to figure that out. And I thought it was oh yeah, I'm gonna get totally killed if I go to the left side. But no. Just don't push from the middle. It's dumb. No one approaches you if you go from the left too. From the middle, until you're in the throne room at least. But yeah, that's one thing about the final boss fight. And yeah, I played on easy, casual mode. Still, that fight just wiped the floor with me. for a long time. Yeah. Now, I guess with that out of the way, I want to talk about the side characters, like the students. I mean, I guess they're not really side characters, but each of the students in the houses, right? So, let's start off with my main man, Dedu. This guy, he is the dude, or the dude. Get it? Isn't that funny? You haven't heard that joke before. It's literally like a year after the game's release. I'm really late to this game. Dedu is a pretty cool character, I think. In a lot of the supports, he sort of seemed to off-put to a lot of the like people who are nobles in Fargus, but slowly realized that they don't exactly blame Dusker, and they know that something's up with it. Except for Ingrid, she's interesting. Um, but yeah, Dedu slowly sort of like uh learning that his conceptions about people might not be really right with how they think of Dusker. I thought that was pretty cool. And I just liked, in his day-to-day interactions, he wasn't like super tropish. I mean, he was just the right-hand man kind of guy, but he still acted pretty chill, calm, and collected and all that. Alright, next up, let's talk about Annette. I have nothing to say about it. I don't remember a single thing about Annette. She liked cooking, and she had that support where she tried to put makeup on people. I, I, I don't remember anything else. I think she did some gardening with Dedu. I I don't know. She was a pretty good unit for the first half of the game, but after that she sort of fell off the tracks. So yeah, I don't know anything about Net. Oh, actually, one thing I forgot about to do, right? Going back to him, way more interesting than Annette. I didn't think he would actually die. I let him die because I didn't. I only did one paralog, just so you know. But basically, yeah, Dedu died like off screen. Basically, I thought he was gonna come back the whole entire time, and he just didn't, because I didn't save him. But I just thought it was weird that he died off screen like that, and that he has the option to come back when he also died off screen. Like, come on, who does paralogs even? There are so many of them in such little time. You should just explore Garreg Mach or rest instead. Or seminars. Literally everything else is better than doing the paralogs. But yeah, next character. Let's talk about Mercedes. She reminds me of Haru Kumura from Top 5 Receding Hairlines on the Obro YouTube channel. She's good at healing. Her character? I don't remember at all. Her and Annette, I don't remember anything about. She was like wholesome 100. That's all I can describe her as. It's Haru basically. It's just fluffy hair, wholesome 100. You forget their character. Haru from Persona 5, by the way. I know there's a lot of Harus, I guess. Alright, so next character. I'ma talk about Felix. You know, Felix, man, he had this whole sort of rivalry going on, right? He was kind of mad about, I think it was Dimitri's position as King of Fargus. Or Prince of Fargus, I think. Because he had always worked with Dimitri and trained with him type of thing. And could never really overcome him in battle. So Felix is dedicates all of his time to sword stuff, sword things. But in the gameplay, he works way better as a warlock, really. Or a mortal savant, which I had him as. So yeah, sword. He basically just tried to get better with using a sword, right? He mastered the art of the blade. And in all of his supports, basically, he just acts really angry and hard to talk to. And then later, he gets off his high horse and is like, you know what, man, you're chill to talk to. I think that's literally all of the supports. I'm being real. I didn't do all the supports because there were so many of them, it just got boring, not gonna lie. Because a lot of them were the same. And you just kind of listen to your characters doing random stuff. And half of them, I really don't care about. I mean, half of them being Mercedes and Annette, really. For the most part. Alright, next character. Ingrid. she doesn't like the people of Dusker. She thinks that they are all bad because, you know, she supports Fargus or whatever, and thinks that the kingdom of, or the people of Dusker basically caused that whole Dusker tragedy thing. Which, yeah, I mean, I don't know why you would like ever believe that in the first place. I mean, the people of Dusker had a pretty good relationship with, you know, Fargus, and it's also weird that, like, you know, the like queen or whatever, or the guy who's buried the king. Yeah, that's a queen. I just remember that. Like, she was the only person left, and of course Dimitri. Like, that was. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how you could ever think it was the people of Dusker's fault. Really, it seems kind of sus. And she's like so just not open to forgiving. Really, her support with Dedu was so awkward. I hated it. I closed the game out, went back to my save, and make sure I didn't do the like C support, cause that was just awful to watch. I didn't like that. It was like lots of dots and stuff like that, and it just, yeah, none of that good stuff, right? Yeah, so she reminds me of your average person on Discord, basically. She's alright, I guess. I find it kind of funny that that's like the main thing about her character. Oh wait, actually no, she was about to be married off to help her family, right? That's another thing. But then in a paralog I did, you stop that from happening. And then she gives you a relic. Yeah, you did the thing and made it so she wasn't in a forced marriage. Cool. Alright. Now, I swear, this character, the next one, Sylvain, literally best character of Blue Lines. Or maybe next to Dimitri, you know. So basically, all Sylvain's life, he was put on a pedestal because he had a crest. And not many people did. So much so that his brother, who didn't have a crest, like, tried to kill him once. And, like, abandon him at the grocery store or something. I don't know. Stuff like that really happens, though. But yeah, with that, the game calls him a quote-unquote skirt chaser. So yeah, basically he is the tropey funny anime dude who talks to all the ladies. But his reasoning is acting out because everyone just sees him as the guy with the crest and always wants to get something out of him. I really like his interactions with Byleth. It makes Byleth seem like not always such a good guy. How, like, you know, Sylvain is really jealous that no one knew that Byleth had a crest for a while, and that no one, or not even Byleth knew. So yeah, I thought those interactions were pretty cool, and I don't know, man. I just really, like, that character was cool. I like that, you know, he wasn't really there to please anybody also. And he felt like pretty much one of the most fleshed out dudes there. So yeah, that's like all the people there. I want to talk about some other main story things that I thought were pretty interesting. Geralt. Yeah. Really, Geralt's character was so weird, man. He was so distant. Like, I mean, I know that's kind of the point with him being your father and being mysterious about, like, how he took you away and how you're, like, you were messed with by Lady Rhea, and that's probably why Sothis is there. But, like, he just seems so distant, and I know that's what they were getting at, but it just makes it seem fake when he dies and Byleth cries. I know it's like, whoa, it's a tearjerker, look, Byleth never laughed or cried in his life before. Isn't that crazy? But it just felt lazy to me. Like, come on, dude. Like, you had no emotional attachment to that father, really. I know that's kind of the point, but it just doesn't work with Byleth crying at his death. Like, it's kind of a brotherino momentarium. But also, Geralt's death, like, who actually thought that was going to be, like, a big major twist? We all knew Geralt was going to die. So, yeah, that's a yikes. On the Geralt tier list, I would put him 2 tiers below. Actually, no. Let me think about that. I'd put him as a solid D tier Geralt. No one beats Geralt of Rivia. I'm sorry, man. S tier Geralt right there. Alright. on to the next little plot thing that I thought kind of sucked. So this. So this. So this is why I think it sucks. Isn't that a funny and original joke? But yeah, so this, what? She just, like, becomes you at the end, and then for some god-awful reason, you can get an S rank with her? What? She literally, like, fuses with you or something. I don't understand. Also, the character just gets, like, cut out at the end there. Like, she has no relevance. And in the beginning, like, it's like, yeah, the goddess is there. It's like, yeah, that's where valueless power comes from. And that might make more sense in the church route, because, like, goddesses, churches, archbishops, Lady Reyes, all that stuff, that kind of relates, right? But in this route, it just didn't make sense to me. It didn't feel like it had a good conclusion, because the conclusion was so early on. It's like, yeah, you find out that's the goddess, which, by the way, was an awful twist again. That was so obvious. And then she, like, fuses with you and just, like, forfeits her character to make you overpowered. I I don't know. I didn't get it. I don't really see, like, why the character needed that much emphasis on them if that was going to be the end result. Just to make Byleth more powerful. But yeah. With that story junk out of the way, this video is probably going to be a lot longer than the other ones if I decide to make a series on it. Because I want to talk about the general gameplay of this. And I already talked about some stuff from part 1, White Clouds. But yeah, the general gameplay. Man, exploring Garreg Mach, like, every single Sunday, really got boring. Especially once you get, like, 9 actions a day. It's like, you just do the same thing over and over and over. It's not fun. It's not like you choose, I guess there's the tea times, right? But I feel like those are more tedious than anything. They don't lead to much development other than helping with support ranks and giving motivation to the characters. And yeah, it just got boring because it felt too, like, formulaic. It just felt like something I did on autopilot. It became really boring. Fish, check the plants, right? Harvest them, grow some more crops, do whatever. Then you talk to people, right? You maybe do some training and, up some of your stats. Then you go to the food place, get them all food. It's the same thing, just every single time. And I stopped doing the quests too because they were just normal fetch quests that give me, like, Professor XP, which, like, you already get enough of from doing the questions. Like, whenever you instruct people. And yeah, I had, like, an A rank in Professor, or maybe it was B by the end of it. That was way more action points than I needed. It was just not worth to do all those stupid quests. But yeah, that's about it for that side of the gameplay. I want to talk about the combat real quick of the game. I really like it. It has this really good balance of making you feel just utterly hopeless when you see the amount of enemy units, and then slowly over time making you feel stronger and more confident in, like, your ability to win. I don't know, it just makes you feel smarter than you actually are because your units are tanks, and it just looks scary because there's so many enemy units. But over time they just go because, your units are, like, nearly always stronger than the enemies. So yeah, that's really it for, like, the main combat, It's cool. It makes me feel cooler than I probably am. Now, I think lastly, I want to talk about the music of the game. Man, it's really good. I really like Fodlan Winds. I really like how it had that motif of Fodlan Winds in the last battle. That really tugged at my heartstrings, man. Yeah, it's one of those games, like, usually in games when I grind them out, I just mute the music, because usually it's in a really depressing atmosphere. But I felt for this one that, like, it was so good, and the atmosphere was, like, I don't know. Usually I have a reluctance to listen to it if it's just gonna sound dreadful, and if I'm just grinding the game, like, hours on end. 'Cause it just feels sad and lonely, man. Not even gonna lie. But for this one, I feel like it set the mood just perfectly. It made me want to listen to the music when it sounded like you were about to die any second from now. Which usually that gets me away from a game, because that's sad, man. I don't want to die or have the fear of it every 2 seconds. At least in Fire Emblem. Alright, well, I think that about wraps up like my main thoughts on the game. I just want to do like a lightning round right now. Here's some facts about my game. Alright, props to Annette and Felix for being the two house students who wasn't Dimitri or Byleth who actually got MVP in rounds. That's pretty cool. By the way, I S ranked Ingrid because funny Discord user. I used male Byleth because I don't even know, man. I just thought he looked kind of fresh though. Um, yeah, I think Dimitri left was pretty funny when he was like, "Is this some kind of twisted joke?" I thought that scene was pretty cool. You know, seeing him sort of crack over time. Probably should have put that in the Dimitri section, but whatever. Also, another Dimitri funny moment, dude. When he's talking with Dedu when they're like gardening, and he's like, "Hey, what if I eat these weeds?" And Dedu is like, "No, don't." He's like, "All right, I was just asking, man." I thought that was pretty funny, and I think the internet agrees with me there. Oh, and also Sateth, like starting off as a Wyvern Lord in part two, insanely powerful. I love that. And another thing, Felix Warlock all the way, dude. It is so strong. And with that, that's about it for the video. Those are my thoughts on Azure Moon. It was pretty cool. A good experience for a game. I'm kind of surprised. Like, was it really short or did I just speed through it? Because it only took me like 34 hours. But yeah, I think I'm going to make a series out of this. So, the next route and video I do on that route will be Golden Deer. Although that probably won't come out for like another month. Because it's probably going to take me a long time to replay this game. So yeah, have a good one, people. Thanks for watching. See you.